stream. I'm Dan, your friendly fishmonger here at dansfish.com. We do this live stream every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 9 Eastern. For those that might be mountain challenged, we're going to start off giving you a shipping report for all of 2024. And then we're going to talk about the giveaway. Have some exciting stuff. It's exciting to me. I mean, it's packaging. I don't know how exciting that is to everyone, but to me, this is exciting. And we are going to talk about fish together and just geek out for the next hour and a half. We're just gonna be fish freaks freaking out about fish. Yeah. All right. I don't have any notices that anyone can't see me or hear me. Audiovisual is great, says Killers, Reptiles, and Aquatics. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, I don't have the green screen up today. The green screen adds a level of complexity that I just didn't want to deal with today, so I might have that up next week. Ultimately, my idea for the green screen is every week or two have a different fish featured back there, but I just haven't had the manpower, the hours, the whatever to make that happen. That's kind of the original vision with the green screen. It's still the vision. I would like to, each week or two, get some footage of different fish in the warehouse and put them up there and kind of just keep that rotating. But yeah, we'll get to there at some point. First things first. Okay, let's start with the giveaway. So, not this last time, but the time before that I talked to you, we were at 98.99% success rate shipping fish. That's only 0.01% away from our goal being 99% or better success rate shipping fish to our customers. Then last time I talked to you, we were at 98.99%. It hadn't changed. And we are still at 98.99%. In fact, we tallied all of 2004, and that's what we got. The 2004 12-month running total, 98.99. So we almost made our goal of 99%. Seriously, just 1/100th of a percent. 100th of a 100th, I guess. Is that what that? I don't know. Anyway, we were almost there. 100th of a percent. Yeah. So we almost made it. We're very close. 2025 is gonna be the year. We're gonna make it to 99%. So anyway, that's the shipping report. The other bit about shipping is there was some bad weather. And then it cleared, but UPS is so backlogged and in such trouble right now that they put out a notice and said, unfortunately, they didn't put this out till Tuesday, a day late for our shipping purposes, but we got a notice Tuesday that said, we're not going to guarantee any shipments until the Monday the 13th because they're so behind. So we've decided we're going to hold off on some shipments. If you had an order that was going out this week, you've been contacted and all that should be cleared. We're really sorry. I know it's a bummer to wait for your fish, especially since we don't ship real close to the holidays, simply because there's too much of a backlog and the fish get delayed and that's bad for the fish. So a lot of you might have ordered in December, like mid-December and late mid-December. And we're like, okay, we can't ship again until the new year, till January 6th, right? Well, looks like we actually can't really ship till January 13th. So I know that's a bummer. I'm really sorry. Just know that the reason we're doing this is here at Dan's Fish, we ask a series of questions before we do something. We ask, is this better for the fish? Is this better for the customer? Those are the two top questions. And our mission is to do right by the fish and the customer. But we do right by the customer, in our opinion, by doing right by the fish. So we are trying to avoid customers having a situation where they open up a box of fish that has been delayed for probably a day or two at this point. If we were to go with shipping this week, it's so bad. And open that up and have a box full of dead fish. That's not good for the customer. And it's definitely not good for the fish. So I know it's annoying. I know waiting sucks, but we're not shipping wrenches. We're shipping living animals. And so we're just trying to do right by the animal, honestly. And we feel like by doing right by the animal, we ultimately end up doing right by the customer. So for anyone that's frustrated about the delays, I'm real sorry, but we always, is this better for the fish? Okay, we're gonna do that. That just guides that's our North Star. That's why we ship the way we do. That's why we source the way we do. That's why we do everything the way we do it. And we're not gonna deviate from that. So that's where we're at. Now, I do wanna thank the customers. Something that was really revealing last night, and continuing as Johnny's been contacting everybody and working through this, having to change shipping dates and everything. Something that was really revealed to us is how awesome our customer base is. Out of all the shipments that were going out, and it's a record, it's many, many fish going out this week that were scheduled, many, many orders. We only had one person that really was, how do you say it, kind of a jerk about it, I guess. Negative to the point where I was like, yeah, don't talk to my staff that way, you know. Everyone else, of course it's annoying. Some people took work off to receive their fish. That's the worst. That's when I feel the worst, is when someone literally took the day off work to receive their fish, and then because of something out of our control, they don't get the fish that day. I've been there myself. As a hobbyist, I've ordered lots of fish online, and when they aren't sent when they say they will, or they don't arrive when they should, and I've rearranged my life for that, I get it. I'm really sorry that happened to a couple of you. And I understand that. But you weren't the folks that, you know, that were that one person. So it was really cool. I mean, it sucks. The whole situation shipping this week is just bad. There's nothing good about it. Or the fact that we're not going to ship. But what was revealed to Johnny and I was how awesome our customer base is. I feel like the majority of our customers understand. They're like, oh, okay, of course we wouldn't want to risk the fish. Yes, it sucks. I took work off, or yes, this is horrible, or this is inconvenient, or whatever. But I think the majority of people understand. And some people needed to cancel their orders just because schedules don't work. I get that. Or some people might have canceled their orders just because they're like, I'm so done with waiting. And I understand that. There's no hard feelings on our end either way. And so it was awesome that out of the, I don't know exactly how many people that were affected. It was over 200 easily by all this, 300 and maybe over. Only one responded in a way that we were like, now that's just, you know. So thanks for being an awesome customer base. Thanks for supporting us. And when we look at our customers as partners in our mission. So we don't look at you as something that we have to butt up against. We don't look at our customers as something we're in contention with or we're at opposite ends about. We look at our customers as, okay, we're trying to fulfill this mission about aquarium fish and the aquarium fish industry. Basically, we're trying to make the aquarium fish industry better for the fish, because we believe that by doing that, we'll make it better for the customer as well, because more fish will be healthy, more fish will thrive for the customer. It's just, it'll be more humane throughout the entire thing if we operate the right way. And so we look at the customers as a partner in that effort. And most of you act like partners in that effort. And we really appreciate it. I think you guys are probably the best customer base that a fishmonger could hope for. So thank you. Anyway, we'll continue making decisions that way. Is this right for the fish? And we'll continue moving through. We do think that we've been in very close contact with UPS and everything, and it's looking very hopeful that we'll be able to start getting this backlog cleared out next week. So anyway, that's the state. It's been a weird holiday season. For most businesses, the holiday season is like great. It's like, okay, This is awesome. And for us, it's great, but we do have a big complication every holiday season, which is we can't ship fish when it's real close to Christmas because the carriers get absolutely overwhelmed with packages and there will be delays and it's cold. And so fish are going to suffer and many will die if we ship too close to Christmas due to the shipping delays, due to that massive, crazy volume. Same right around New Year's. And so, and the way the holidays fell this week, they were both on a Wednesday, which meant we couldn't really ship that week. Because if we shipped on Monday and the package were delayed for some reason, it wouldn't get to you on Wednesday because the carriers were closed on New Year's and Christmas. Wouldn't get to you till the following day. And by then, in the cold weather, it's dicey that the fish would be okay. And so, and we couldn't ship on Wednesday, obviously, because the carriers were closed. So it's just every holiday season, it's like, all right, we need the sales, but also we know we're gonna just be working so hard in January to clear the backlog. So it's always an adventure in the second half of December and in the first half or the month of January around here being a fishmonger. So yeah, that's the reality that I'm living right now. All right, so let's talk about the giveaway. Speaking of shipping fish, look what we got for the new year. Ta-da! I know it's just a box, but we are excited to have this box, and we're really excited about this. A little bit of information for the carrier. Please keep them at this temperature. Please treat them carefully, this side up, and hopefully they'll pay attention if we say, hey, there's a high claim value on this. So this is our new box. We made this in response to, if you read our reviews, sometimes people would leave a review that was like, it didn't say live fish on the box, negative. And there's a reason we've not put that. There's a reason this doesn't actually say live fish. It says Dan's fish. I don't know. They can probably deduce that that's live tropical fish in there. Maybe they think it's like, food fish or something, or I don't know. Fish MREs, I don't know. But what we found in the past is when we put live fish on a box, it's actually a little bit more likely that those fish might get delayed due to the special treatment that they would receive. So our hope is that if we don't just say live fish, but we have some actual instruction, like here's the temperature range and other things like that on there, careful, treat these right, that that will allow us to satisfy what the customers see as neglect on our part of not having the boxes labeled, when actually that's on purpose on our part, because we know if we do that, it'll be worse. But we hope that if we label it this way, we were pretty strategic about this, that the customer will see that it's labeled and not think we're dropping the ball, and the fish will get through expeditiously. So we've only done this printing on this one size box for now, because we want to test this out and we want to see, okay, do these labels get the fish through quicker than, or at least as quickly as they would if they didn't have any labeling on them. And so if the answer is true, yes, that is the case, then we would definitely roll that labeling out to the other size boxes. The other thing is, we've still got some of the other boxes we need to use up before we start using these. So don't be surprised if the next few orders or next few weeks, we don't use this newly labeled box, because we still got, I don't know, a pallet or so of the old box, and we need to run through that before we start switching to these as a matter of course. But once that old pallet is used up, we'll start switching to these on this one size box, and we'll keep track of delays and compare them to what we would what they were before, and see if we can use that box. So that's kind of where we're at in this process. But I like it. Believe it or not, this is a few months of work. We started on this process, oh geez, October? We started talking to the company about it several months ago, and then we started pursuing it, really seriously, I think in September, October, something like that. So yeah, it takes a while to get this stuff all through and the colors approved and the mold for the printing made and all that stuff. So now I'm starting to sound like Corey, so I'll stop. Corey can have that niche. He explains it much better than I do, how to develop packaging and products and all that. So, but I got a taste of what it's like to be Corey a little bit developing this, and I like fish. I don't like products as much. I really like fish, but every now and then I have to delve into the products to do the fish in a way that hopefully is better. I just got really tired of getting reviews or emails of people that are like, "You're the worst because you didn't put live fish on my box," and no, that's on purpose. Believe it or not, that's actually better. So hopefully this works. Okay, that's a lot of what I've been working on lately. Trying to deal with all the shipping backlog that UPS is under right now, developing packaging, getting that out, all that stuff. So that's kind of been my world. Something else I've been working on is trying to get better pictures up on the website. We've made a lot of progress on that. And we also have some of my bad pictures on the website because we don't want to misrepresent. So let me talk to you about what I mean. So this is a nice picture that I did not take, but that I think is a really nice thumbnail that would draw someone in and be like, hey, that is a good looking fish. So there's also in this carousel pictures that I did take. This is a picture that I took of one of my Empire gudgeons here at the warehouse. Then here's one that isn't colored up quite as much. Then I just thought this pose was awesome, so I included that. And then here's some juveniles. So what I'm trying to do is figure out how to make it so that someone who didn't know fish at all could look at a picture of a fish and be like, oh, I see the potential of that. That's really cool. But also not be misled. Also see that right now what they're going to get is probably a small fish that looks something like this. Or if we have a little older ones, something like this when they color it. So that's where we're at. So another picture is, this is a really nice picture that I did not take, but I feel like shows the checkered barb when they're adults and look really good, accurately. But what they're gonna probably get from me is a juvenile fish that looks more like this. So I want to get nice pictures on the website. That's something we've been lacking forever. And my dream was that I could take them. But after years, actually, of trying, I've discovered I'm not a very good photographer. I'm just not. I don't have the knack. I don't have the time. I've taken a few good shots, but I've got hundreds and hundreds of fish I need to get good shots of. And if I kept relying on myself to do it, it'd be another 10 years before it happened. So I finally made the decision that I would do it this way. I would show a really good picture, but also show beyond that what they look like now. So you can see, for example, I think there's another good one, that once they're grown up and settled in and mature and fired up, an albino threadfin acara looks kind of like this. Actually, they look even better like this. They get these really long filaments that are awesome. But that in our tanks, what you're going to get is something like this, or this, or this, depending on the size. So I'm trying to let people see this is an awesome fish, and this is, it's got the potential to look like this. And it probably will. If you keep it long term and it grows up and settles in your aquarium, it's going to color up and it's going to look awesome. But what you're going to receive is something that's probably smaller, not as colored up, not as mature. And so that's the balance I'm trying to I'm trying really hard to walk that tightrope. So hopefully I get it right. So I've been working on that a lot too. Something else we're working on is sourcing fish from hobbyist breeders. We've now got a larger cadre of hobbyist breeders supplying us with fish than ever before. We love it. And if you're a hobbyist that breeds fish, there's a good chance we'd be interested in buying what you have. Now, not every fish is the right fit for us. We tend to sell small, usually peaceful, kind of community aquarium fish, with a few exceptions. So, we aren't going to be able to buy, a whole bunch of wolf cichlids from you. That's not our thing. But if you have fish that you've bred and you have some quantity, generally we like to buy fish in 1 to 200 at a time. If they're pricier, then maybe 50 at a time to 100 at a time, something like that. But we love buying from hobbyists. So if you're a hobbyist and you don't know that about us already, send us an email, hello@dancefish.com. That's HELLO@dancefish.com. And let us know what you've got, how big it is, how many you have, and the price you kind of want. And we'll get back to you with a form that explains how to move forward. So that's moving well, and I really like it, because when we can source locally, it's very humane. The fish don't go through the what I describe as a meat grinder of a supply chain, which is the normal, aquarium industry chain. I can buy directly from the breeder. So the breeder has raised them, has the time, if you're a hobbyist, to really take care of them right. Hobbyists are just really in touch with their fish, right? We watch them all the time. We spend a lot of time with our fish. We kind of know what's going on. So that hobbyist that's lovingly raised these fish, puts them in a box, sends them to me, and it's just one step. And they don't have to go international or any of that. And also, so it's better for the fish. It's the most humane way to source fish, I think. Other than me actually breeding them here myself, I think it's the most humane. But something that's really, I think, a bummer about the industry is how if you go to a pet store and I bred these fish, you want to buy them, they're probably going to say no. If they say yes, they'll probably be like, I can give you a little store credit for it or something like that. Something that I've been really excited to see is there is an industry in the Czech Republic that I think is really interesting. What happened in the Czech Republic is, back when I'm old enough to remember this, but at one point in time, kids, there was something called the Iron Curtain. And the Czech Republic was cut off largely from the rest of the world because it was part of the USSR. It was behind the Iron Curtain. And so when that curtain dropped, the hobbyists there were kind of stuck with the fish they already had. They were no longer able to bring in new fish from all over the world because, well, they were isolated and didn't have the ability to do that. Now, maybe they got one occasionally here or there, but in general, they were stuck with the fish they already had. So what they did in the Czech Republic for that whole period was they bred the fish they already had, and they developed them into really neat strains like the super blue Emperor Carey tetra. I think the orange Von Rio tetra was developed in the Czech Republic. Some really cool varieties of Harlequin rasbora. So they took what they had and they really worked with it. And they kept the quality high because they knew they weren't getting another chance. And so they worked their lines responsibly. And what ended up happening was this industry developed where in the Czech Republic, the majority of the fish exported from there are bred by basement breeders, by hobbyists, not by large fish farms. Because there was a market there for the fish bred by hobbyists because the pet stores weren't going to get them from anywhere else. And so you had a market. I think that's really cool. Not that they had to live behind the Iron Curtain and, stand in line for bread for days, but that there was this hobbyist market that developed. And I would love to see something like that develop in the United States, where it became normal to go to your pet store or whatever, and have fish you could sell them, as opposed to that being like this kind of weird thing they don't want to do. They use these other industry suppliers that they're used to, and I don't know, it's kind of out of our system to work with you as a hobbyist, right? I would love to be a place where hobbyists can breed fish and know they have a market. So there are a few breeders that we work with regularly and have for years, some of them. And after working with us for a little while, they kind of know, okay, they sell this many orange Venezuelan cories roughly. So in 3 months, if I have this many available, they'll be able to take them all. And we kind of get to know each other. What can you supply? How many can we take? And we're trying to create a market for hobbyist bred fish. Yeah, we want to do that. So, yeah, if you're a hobbyist and want to be part of that, then we're here for it. And one of the nice things I think about it is we can do it in volume. Now, if you've bred like, I've got 6 of these or whatever, unless they're like super rare or expensive, like a CW111 Vulcan Cory or something like that, that doesn't make economic sense for us to take an entire 40-gallon breeder tank and dedicate it to 6 Corridors Aeneas that you might have bred. So if we were going to buy Corridors Aeneas from a hobbyist, we need to buy a couple hundred maybe. But as long as we can get the volume that we need to justify using the tank space that our business model requires, then we're happy to do it. And people say, what fish do you want to buy? If it's a fish we're selling, we would probably rather buy it from a hobbyist than have to import it. So anything we sell, we're probably looking to buy it. Now, there are a few things that I think are really cool that I bring in. I'm like, these are awesome. People are going to love these. And I bring them in and no one buys them ever. And I'm like, I guess I'm not bringing more of those in. So there are a few fish that we have listed for sale that just aren't good sellers that we wouldn't want to buy, but that's very few. Almost everything we have for sale, we need to source from somewhere, and we'd rather source it from you. So that's what we're trying to do. There's one exception to, let me show you this. Okay, here was the biggest fish buying mistake of my career. Okay, we all know the Burmese clouded archer, right? The true freshwater archer fish, which is awesome because it doesn't need brackish water. In the wild, it lives in freshwater its entire life, which is great because I personally don't like mixing brackish water. And then they came out with a platinum version of this, Toxotus blythii, the platinum version. And I was really excited. They first came out. I looked at our competitors. They were selling them for around $600 a piece. I think the cheapest was $500, somewhere up to, I think, in the $700-800 range. And so I was like, dude, this is awesome. I can bring in a brand new kind of fish, because these are brand new on the market, and I can charge only $3.99, which is a lot of money, but it's half of what the competition had to charge, because I kind of had a hookup. Someone reached out to me and that I know and trust and worked with for years, and was like, hey, I've got these, and the price was good and everything. So I was like, not only can I bring them in, but I can sell them at, in some cases, half of what my competitors are selling them for. This is gonna be great. No one wants this fish. We have this fish for sale. No one wants it. We are having the hardest time selling it, even though it's the coolest fish ever. It's a platinum archer fish. I think they're awesome. They've doubled in size since we've had them. They're doing awesome. But this is an example of a fish where it's like, yeah, we sell that fish, but we're probably not going to buy it from a customer just because we can't sell it. No one agrees with me that they're super cool. But almost everything else that we have here, if you just scroll what we have in stock actively selling, or if you know our website well enough and you're like, yeah, they're out of stock on that, but I know they sell it all the time, they just happen to have run out, then we want to buy it. Something that we really want is high quality live bears. High quality fancy guppies, swordtails, platies, mollies. We have one main breeder where we can get really good quality live bears. However, they're super expensive, very expensive. I think some of them we sell as high as like $400 a pair, some of them. We don't want to do that. I would love to sell them for $50 a pair. I don't know, $100 a pair. Something a lot less than 400. Like, I think $50 a pair, maybe 60 for a good quality, fancy live bear that's healthy and it's had some work put into it. I think the market could support something like that. So that's something that I'd really like to be able to offer. Now, one reason they're so expensive, though, is they're difficult. They're not difficult to breed, but it's difficult to get enough. You're going to get spawns, and not all of them are going to be what you want. A small percentage might be what you want. So you have to kind of work the line, cross in, back cross, to really establish the lines right. And some of these colors and finish types and stuff, there's so many genes involved that it's hard to get any quantity of those raised up enough for market. And so that's why they're so expensive. Killifish are another one we'd love to buy from hobbyists, but honestly, anything we sell. So anyway, that's something though that this last year we've made great strides on. We're purchasing more fish from hobbyists than ever before, and I like the trend and I want it to continue. All right, that's enough of me yapping. Let's get to what you guys are doing. First of all, stream is healthy, good. And I don't see any times when it dropped out. All right, great. We're actually streaming today. Look at that. Got a few people I need to thank. The first is Kaler's Reptiles and Aquatics. Thank you so much for the generous super chat, Bob. Happy New Year to you. Susan Cross, thanks for joining up. Thanks for becoming a member of the Fishmonger crew. You are now a Danio or Danionella. Congratulations. Jacob Metzer. Hey, thanks for being a member for almost 2 years now, Jacob. Jeez, time flies. You're the best fishmonger on the planet. We're here because of your commitment to that mission and vision. You're keeping the hobby alive. I think the hobby would go on without us, but it needs a forcing function to improve. It needs a forcing function to operate ethically and to make it so that when people buy fish, they don't have to feel guilty about it, right? And we can do that from within the industry, or we can wait until there's enough pressure put on legislators that legislators do that to our industry. That would be horrible, because legislators don't know the nuance of our industry enough to make changes that would allow the industry to actually function properly while also doing right by the fish. They just don't know. There's too many nuances, and there's no way they know them. They'll pass laws, though, if enough pressure is put on, because they want to get reelected, and if enough constituents are like, hey, this is an issue for us, they'll be like, I got you, right? They'll pass something horrible, but they'll get the votes, right? So we don't want that. We want to regulate ourselves. We want to make the change from within the industry. Not only will we come up with changes that actually work and are effective, but we'll come up with changes that also allow us to stay in business. So I think the hobby would go on without us. I think eventually, though, someone needs to step up and do this, or we'll be regulated. So that's kind of where we're at, I think. Black Cat Aquatics also joined up. Thank you so much, Black Cat. I'm picturing like this black cat that is on top of an aquarium, you know, trying to get the fish and falls in because it's a black cat with aquatics. I don't know. This ornery wet cat that kind of just fell in the tank and is now mad at life. Scotty the Fish Freak just found Aphyosemium gabuins babies in water sprites. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Set up 2 more Keely tanks tonight. Goal is 40 more. Woo! Clash registration is open. Send Johnny to the Clash. All right. So let's put this down there. Keystone Clash. If you guys don't know what this is a great fish convention the Keystone Clash. I will put a link to it here. Registration for 2025 is open. So there's a link if you want to learn about it. I went and I loved it. I thought it was a great event. Stephen P. Dan's Fish Secondary Mission. Send Johnny to the Clash. Yep, you know it. And you guys are making it happen. I haven't sat down and tabulated how many super chats have been given to send Johnny to the Clash yet, but at the rate we're going, I don't think we're going to have too much trouble. It's because we've got till, September, October, something like that. Jacob Metzner, make the Platinum Archer tank the green screen background and send Johnny to the Clash. Yeah, I mean, that's an option. That's an option. We could do that. I just need the time. The other thing I need to do is have a few tanks set up, kind of aquascaped a little bit, because just working warehouse tanks, they're kind of barren. They don't look great on film or on green screens and stuff. So that's one step. Okay, so here's what I have to do. I have to get decent pictures on the website but also not mislead. So that's what I'm working on. I have to get descriptions written on the website. I've got a lot done, but there's hundreds of fish. So I'm always behind the 8 ball a little bit when it comes to that. But I want to get good descriptions written on the website, because when people come and see a fish they want, there needs to be some information there about the fish. And we've been working on that, and I've been focusing on that a lot lately, but it takes a lot of time to get those descriptions done. And I mean, you're basically writing a little essay on every species you sell. It's, it's some work. So, but I need to get that done. That will help the customer be informed when they buy the fish, or help them, make it they're thinking between 3 fish, which one should they get? Little information would be nice. So I need to do that. And somehow in all that, I need to find a way to keep some content up on the YouTube channel. If you'll notice, I haven't had a lot of content up for a while. It's just because I've been focused on... Okay, here's how I describe my job. I'm out in the field, and there's all these fires burning. Yay! Speaking of fires, all right, let me fix this real quick. I think I'll give the keyword for the giveaway at the end, or closer to whenever I decide to give it away, so that people don't get kicked off and have to re-enter and all that stuff, which is annoying. So this won't affect us as much when this happens. I don't know why it happens. We cannot figure it out. I just have to get set up on Firefox, I think, and have not yet taken the time to do that. Anyway, okay, got chat back. Okay, I think we're all back. Okay, on your page probably nothing happened, but I had to reboot. Server, it's not even like my system. It's literally Google that craps out every now and then while I stream. For some reason, don't know. Oh, what was I talking about? I don't remember. So with that, let's get to your questions and comments, and maybe it'll come back to me. It probably wasn't important. Okay. Oh, I was describing my job. So I'm out in this field, right? And it's like this field of like dry grass and brush, right? A lot of tinder that could burn easily. And there's all these fires burning out there. And they're all kind of approaching me. I'm in the center of this field. They're all kind of coming towards me. And they're coming to me at different speeds, and they're burning at different intensities. And my job is to pick which fire to focus on so I can put it out before it gets to me. And again, they're all burning at different frequencies, approaching at different speeds. Maybe some of these frequencies and speeds are variable, different intensities. So that's my job. I'm looking at all the fires and trying to put them out. Now, that's a negative way to describe my job. The other way you could describe it is each of these is an opportunity, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to take advantage of it. But on a week like this week, when shipping is shot, it feels like fires. Yeah. But anyway, so that's what you try to do as the leader of an organization. Is you're the guy that makes sure that protects the organization from the fires. Or to put a positive spin on it, all these different opportunities out there, which ones do you go take advantage of? So you can't do everything everywhere all at once. You have to figure out what's the most important, make your decision, go for it, and hope you made the right choice. All right, let's get to questions and comments. All right, so if you have a question or a comment for me, do what Nick did. Put @DansFish in your question or comment. It'll turn bright orange, and then I'll see it. So, for example, I'm going to put hello, and then I'm going to type in the @ symbol, and I'll start typing Dan's Fish, and you'll see options pop up. Select Dan's Fish, and what you'll end up with is this bright orange box that I'll see as I scroll down the chat looking for stuff to respond to. So if you want to get my attention and want me to respond to your question or comment, that's the best way to do it. Nick Schultz. I've been working on breeding the humpback limia that I got from you, hoping to have close to 100 by summer if you're interested in those. I am very interested in those. Let's look at a good case study. Just one second. Okay. Right now, every now and then I get lucky and I can find a local breeder with some humpback limia or limia perugiae or Montezuma swordtails or something like that. But when I don't have a breeder available, I have to bring them in. And this is what happens. So I brought in a group from Aquarium Glasser in Germany. There's a breeder there. But look at what I have to charge. To charge 35 bucks per fish, which is nuts. This fish should be maybe 10 to 15 bucks. A pair, 20 to 30 bucks, right? I think. And so this is one reason why I think it's important to develop a kind of a hobbyist sourced industry. It'll never be completely, but the more we can do that, then I won't have to charge this. I can, if you breed 100 of them and I was able to source them from you and get them landed here and my cost per fish was $4 to $5, then I could sell them at a much better price, right? $4 a piece, then I'm selling them at $15.99, which is much better than $35. So another great example is the Montes, the Montezumas. Look at this. I have to import these right now because there's not a breeder that has any available. And so we're talking about $150 for a trio, $50 a fish. When I was able to purchase them from a breeder, the last breeder I was able to purchase them from, in the United States that I remember was Scotty, and I think we were able to offer them at $40 to $60 a pair, something like that, which is much better. I can't remember what the actual price was, but it was much, much less. So what I want to do is make it so that hobbyists can, earn some money, put it back in their hobby, or actually have some free cash. Like, you're putting in all that effort. I don't think there's anything wrong with you making it an actual little enterprise where you can make some cash from it. And we can sell them at a price that is sustainable long-term for the customer base. So yes, I would be very interested in buying those. humpback limias, and I'd have to look at how big they are and all that, but if I could sell those somewhere $10 to $15 a piece, depending on their size, maybe 20 to 30 bucks a pair, depending on the size and stuff, then I think that's much more sustainable. So, yeah. The pinnacle has joined the fishmonger group. We have reached the pinnacle, the 1152 pinnacle, precisely. Thank you for joining the channel. Congratulations, Danny O or Danny Onella. And, oh, Alyssa as well. Thank you, Alyssa. Very, very nice of you to join up. And Eric, why rock? Why not? Send Johnny to the Clash. Thank you, Eric. He's going. Like, at this point. So I didn't have any plans to do this, but when the community speaks, and so it's like when I went to the Triple Crown event, which is a big fish convention, which actually ended up being the Quadruple Crown in Louisville, Kentucky, a couple years ago. People were like, are you coming? We want to meet you. Are you going? And I was like, I'd love to, but I can't justify taking the money out of the business right now to pay for myself to go to have fun at a convention. You know, the business was not at a stage that I could justify that. And so people were like, well, you're coming if that's the problem. And they just started throwing super chats at me. Once that happens, it's like, what am I going to do? Take that money and do something else with it? No, it was earmarked for a specific thing. So that's what's happening with this Johnny to the Clash thing. I don't know who instigated it, but someone decided Johnny should go to the Clash, and other people agreed, and they started making it known with their dollars that that was going to happen. And so I'm not going to take that money and do something else with it. So yeah. Big Steve's Glass Boxes. Hey, Big Steve, thanks for the membership gift, as well as Kelly Foreman. Thank you for yours. Kelly Foreman, I had another zoo reach out to me that wants to source from us. So I used you as a reference again. Just heads up, you might be getting something from another zoo. This is something that's cool, kind of a behind the scenes thing that you guys might not be aware of, is that we now have public aquariums and zoos reaching out in botanical gardens and that kind of thing, wanting to source fish from us because they know people who are in the hobby who have sourced fish from us and have told them they should. So that's pretty cool. So there's kind of a new customer base developing that we didn't foresee and we didn't go after or anything, because for public zoos and aquariums, it's very important. It's almost paramount that that they can describe how they're humanely sourcing their fish. Like they have to be able to tell that story. And so I didn't think about that market at all when I started this company, but the market kind of came to us. And so that's kind of a cool development. So who knows, if you go to a zoo or a public aquarium and see some fish, they might be from us. Fluffy cow, fires and dealing with them. Yep, that's how it is sometimes. Yep. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. I know that's kind of a negative way to describe it. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy this. Gastronomer. So are you a foodie or do you like Hillstream loaches a lot? I'm currently setting up a 60-gallon cold cube water tank, 68 degrees. I've got rainbow shiners ready to go. I'm wondering if there's any killifish that could complement them and handle the temperatures. Yes, there's a lot of killifish that like it down at 68 degrees. One of the coolest that probably isn't right for you, because I don't think that they would do well with rainbow shiners, but look at these. Look at these. This is the diapterons, which are a beautiful group of fish, a species complex out of West Africa. They come from mountains, and they come from these up in the mountains, so it's cooler, and there's these little rainforest streams that have all this canopy growing over them, so they don't get sunlight. So the water there's pretty darn cool. These guys love it 65, 68 degrees, somewhere around there. And because there's no light or anything, the only way the males can attract females is by looking like this. They have to absolutely glow. And they have developed into some of the prettiest fish on the planet. Like, these are amazing. I don't think you would want to keep them with other species, especially an active fish like rainbow shiners. But if you ever decide to do something else in that tank, diapterons are amazing. But yeah, there's a bajillion other fish that could go in there. A lot of stuff coming out of China is more temperate. So this would be like a white-cheeked goby. And I've kept white-cheeked gobies with rainbow shiners without any problem. You have to make sure they get food because the rainbow shiners are such greedy little pigs. But these are awesome. Those would do fine in that temperature. There's several hill stream loaches that come from more temperate environments. Oh, darters. Darters. Let me show you like an orange throat darter. This is one I used to keep out on my patio in Santa Barbara. And it would dip down, to the 40s out there. Easy to keep, easy to breed. I've kept, bred, and raised lots of these little fish, and amazingly colored when they color up. They kind of color down a bit when the water gets cold, but they're still pretty. They still have oranges and stuff in them. But once the water gets above 65 degrees, so at your 68 degrees, they will develop into just some absolutely stunning fish. The hidden fish? I don't know what that is, but okay. So those are some options. Native American fish, fish from China where it's more temperate. Bitterlings. Bitterlings would go well. This is like one of my favorite fish that no one buys. I've brought in a few different species. And it took us, I think we sat on them for over a year. But these are an amazing group of fish out of Asia and Europe. The volcano bitterling. Oh, you got to see this. Look at these guys. Isn't that gorgeous? It's absolutely stunning fish. When I was in Washington, I was privileged to go visit a gentleman who has a breeding setup for these and see how he breeds them. He uses clams and then he collects the eggs, and he 3D printed this artificial breeding setup for them and everything. They're a really interesting fish. So if you don't know about bitterlings, one thing that's super cool about them is how they breed. So they breed in clams. So the female has this long ovipositor, and she will stick this down in the vent of the clam and inject her egg into the clam. And the male will spread his milt by the vent of the clam, and the clam will suck in the milt and fertilize the egg. And now this bitterling has this nice, the egg has this nice protective shell to develop in. And since clams are actively sucking in and spitting out, I guess you could say, water, they have these valves. They pump water in, pump water out. They're bivalves, right? They're getting constant fresh water flowing over them. So it's just amazing how they've developed the ability to, they're basically parasitic breeders. Really neat fish. And they do great at those temperatures. White clouds would be awesome. I'm trying to think. Yeah, those are some suggestions. Christina Y, what's your favorite nanofish food for super small fry? Do, 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 do. I really love this stuff. Now it's not called Magic Nano Feed. They had to change the name to Magic Small Fish Food, I think, because the word nano was, who knew, copyrighted. It's like trying to copyright the word blue. But anyway, Ours love that stuff. Our nanofish go nuts for it. Our chili rasboras, it used to be a lot harder to get chili rasboras up to weight and fat and sassy so we could sell them. We'd have to use a lot of baby brine shrimp, among other things. They eat this stuff almost as energetically as they do live baby brine shrimp. So we still feed baby brine shrimp, but we also are able to feed this now, which is just really convenient. So we've had great luck with aquarium co-ops. Small fish food. A lot of you probably tuned out because you're already aware of what this food is, but for those that don't know, what's so cool about it is the size. It must taste good because they go nuts for it, but it stays suspended in the water. So it's neutrally buoyant in water. There's a lot of fish like chili rasboras. They want to eat kind of from the middle of the water column. They don't really want to go to the surface. They will, but they don't really want to eat up there because a bird could come down and eat them. They don't really want to go down to the bottom because there's predators lurking in the muck at the bottom. So they kind of want to stay in the open water where they can be like, no one's going to eat me here, right? And so they're much more comfortable feeding in there. So the neutral buoyancy of that food is what's magic about it. And I think it's awesome. So that's what we use a lot. In fact, I just got a big box of it today. New big box. In fact, I've had this one on my desk for a little while because I was playing with it and then I kept it here. I should take this back so we actually feed it. And then get a different one over here with the new label on it. Huck has joined up. Man, everyone's joining today. Thanks for joining. Thanks for becoming a member of the channel, folks. Great way to kick off 2025. Bentley Pasco, my friend, how are you? I hope you're doing awesome. Send Johnny to the Clash, says Bentley. Yes, yes, yes. We're working on it. Seems to be happening. Number 2 of the night. And this is why I didn't give out the hashtag earlier, because it would just be very annoying to have to constantly re-enter every time it crashes. So hang on, let me get my chat back. Oh, I hope I didn't lose all the chat that was there. Probably did. This is the strangest thing, how just randomly, after years and years of streaming without any issues with the same browser, now it just sometimes randomly crashes when I'm live streaming. It's weird. Okay, so got this up. Oh, got to get to live chat. There we go. And the next one I can see is from Alyssa Wren. Not fish related, but I just found out I got into the college program I applied for. Hey, congrats! And I'm so excited. X-ray tech school. Also, my baby cribs are super happy. Hey, congratulations. Yeah, I remember the feeling when I got into the school that I wanted. It was like, yes! A lot of pressure to, okay. Okay, I know what I'm doing for at least a little while for the next phase of my life. Jacob Metzner, are you able to get purple spot gudgeons? Are you getting any ruby barbs soon? Yeah, I've been trying to get ruby barbs. They used to be super common. They're a little harder to find now, but yes, I can still get them, and we plan on doing that. That's one that Johnny keeps bugging me about. So that's one we've actually ordered a couple times and had shorted. I think we did have a group come in, but we're out of stock now. So yeah, I'll get more of those in. The Morguna, the purple spot gudgeon, I can get them, but I've been hesitant to. I like them a lot. I like Cingulata a lot too, the banded gudgeon. But they do get aggressive with size. And so right now I generally pass on fish that can get aggressive, generally, not always, but almost always. Just because I don't want to sell a fish to a customer that doesn't know that about the fish. They didn't take the time to do the research and stuff, which, a lot of people are guilty of. I've done that occasionally, and then have these end up wiping out their nice, pretty community tank or something. So So I can get them, but that's the reason I've been hesitant. Now, yeah. Do you have those beautiful colored darters? I don't. I can't keep them anymore. The orange throat darter, its native range, just barely peaks up onto eastern Wyoming. And since I live in Wyoming, I can't, I'd have to get a special permit to keep them, and selling them would be difficult. It adds layers of bureaucracy. When I was living in California, I could keep and breed them all day long because they were not a native species to my state, but now they are. So I actually can't get those anymore. But if you go to Jonah's Aquarium, I'm sure he's got some, or if he doesn't, he can get them. Rainbow darters are very closely, they look very similar. The difference is, here, let me show you a rainbow darter. Let me show you it breeding. How they breed is very different. So if you want to breed them, which I don't know, that's I think it's super fun. Let's see if I can find a picture of a rainbow darter nest. Is there one? I mean, look how pretty they are. Whew. To me, they look very similar to an orange throat darter. And I'm not seeing, okay, let me see if I can say eggs. Maybe it'll show me eggs. Wait, there's some eggs, but can I see them in the nest so I can show what I'm talking about? Okay, let me try one more thing. No, I don't think I'm gonna be able to show it to you. Anyway, they're very similar. So that is one that I think I could get. I don't have any right now, but I think that one would be fine in my state. My emperor gudgeon pair I got from you are beautiful, but they are so recluse we rarely see them. Oh, really? That's interesting. In my experience, when emperor gudgeons get comfortable, they're usually right up begging for food. But I also keep them in large groups, and so fish often act differently. If you just have a pair, maybe they are like, hey, we're going to kind of stay in our cave. How long have you had them, Dan? If it's been a few months, then that's probably just how they're going to be. But if it's only been well, I guess it would have been quite a while at least, because we haven't been shipping since before Christmas. Well, hopefully they get a little gumption. You can see them more often. They are absolutely stunning. Do you have a male? And if so, is he colored up? Have you seen him in that bright orange? I mean, that's just mind-boggling how gorgeous they get. Wait a second. When I switch here, is there a massive Dan's Fish logo kind of blocking the little screen down on the lower right now? If there is, I need to figure out a way to fix that. I just looked at my monitor over here and it looked funny. So has that been like that the whole time? If so, I gotta figure out how to. I put that little logo up there years ago. I don't even remember how I did it. So I might have to adjust that. Okay. What's the next one? Hey, there are 427 folks here. That's not too bad. That's pretty good for this little channel. Thanks for being here, folks. Thanks for spending a little bit of your Wednesday with us. If you know someone that you think might like this kind of content, would you mind sharing this out to them? The more people we get in here, the better. How much were the bitterlings when you had them? It's been over a year. I don't remember. 20, 30 bucks, maybe? I really do not remember. Could have been 12. I really don't remember. That was the best answer to the question, tiny fried food. All right, Deb Hall. Yeah. I'm glad it was informative. Yeah, they sell it over at aquariumcoop.com. And just so you know, for quite a while now, Corey and I have not exchanged any money for referrals. When we first started, We used to like affiliate program. He was a member of my affiliate program. I was a member of his. And if he sent people my way, he would get a little cut of each sale. And if I sent people his way, I would get a little cut of each sale. But we haven't done that for quite a while now, several weeks, couple months, something like that. Because we're just passing money back and forth. And it's really nice when you can tell people, I'm not incentivized to give you my recommendation based on money. There's so many, I'm hardly an influencer. I have what 33, maybe 35,000 subscribers to my channel. Like I'm small potatoes. But so when I say influencer, I'm not under the illusions that I'm like a massive YouTuber. But there is this thing where people get sent products or get kickbacks and stuff. And I think you can navigate that honestly. I think, like, for example, Bob Steenfot, I think he's one of the most honest, straight shooters I've ever met. If he recommends something, I think he's doing it honestly. I've known him for years, and that's just been my experience with the guy. But then there's people that they really are influenced by the money or the free gift or whatever. And so it's nice when you can look at your audience and say, there is not money changing hands here. I'm literally recommending this without getting compensation. I just believe it's good. So that's another reason why Corey and I were like, let's take out the possible perception that we're being monetarily incentivized to do these recommendations. So I really do like the food. In fact, I have to talk to Corey because I think on his website, when you get to the part where it recommends people buy fish from us, I think it still says that they do receive compensation from the recommendation, and that actually hasn't been true for quite a while. It was when that first was implemented. So I think I better write a sticky. I noticed that, I think just like yesterday. Just a sec. Not that I want to give him something else to do. That guy's busy, but I should at least bring it to his attention. Okay. Let's see here. What do I see now? Chat is all kinds of Russian. This is good. 450 folks here. Hey, you guys shared it out. Thank you. We just got a little bump. That's pretty awesome. Okay, I found it. Walt says, my male blue gularis stopped eating pellets. Need help. Okay. So my first question is, will he eat well on other things? Is he tempted by frozen brine shrimp, frozen bloodworms? Despite all the controversy around frozen bloodworms lately, I've been using them for decades and they've never been a problem for me. We use them frequently around here. I do get the Hikari brand because those are high quality. They're washed, they're clean. I don't think there's any spoilage. Like they didn't partially rot before they were frozen, stuff like that. So I don't know if the brand, I don't take a risk on other brands. I mean, I have bought other brands in the past and they came in and I was like, these look kind of brown and I don't know, and I didn't feed them. So I've tried a few brands over the decades and I was just like, I pretty much only fed Hikari. So maybe other brands could be a problem, but in my experience, they're great. So can you, Walt, tempt him with other foods, or has he stopped eating altogether? If he stopped eating altogether, something's wrong. If he stopped eating and has like white stringy fish diarrhea poop, then we're looking at, well, it could be lots of things, but I would probably start trying to treat for internal parasites because those are very common, and the treatments don't crash your entire, tank. So that's one thing to try. So I'd probably start there. Well, I could tell you guys something kind of cool. we tabulated, or in the process of collecting a lot of data about fish disease. And the most common problem we run into is roundworms. That's the most common thing we see. So, just a sec. I don't have this in a convenient breakdown yet. We're working on that, but 30% of the fish we examine have roundworms. The next highest issue is a tie between gill flukes and trichodina. And that's right around 10%, each of those. Chilodonella, about 8%. So because of that, the first thing I would try treating is roundworms. They're, in our experience, the most likely culprit. So I don't know if that's super helpful, but if they stopped eating and there's some, it's like, hey, I think they're internal parasites. Ideally, we can get that diagnosed and treated. We could take a little fecal sample and get an actual diagnosis. If we see the eggs of the worms or the worms themselves, then we know there's that issue. But barring the ability to do that, and let's face it, the average hobbyist does not have an aquatic veterinarian in their area and can't do that, then I would probably treat, I'm not a veterinarian, okay? I want to make that clear, but just from what I've seen, from the data I have in my own facility here, I would treat for roundworms, and then I'd probably also treat with Ick-X, because that will take care of ick, chilodonella, and some others. Yeah, I don't know. I think between those two medicines, those two treatments, you could wipe out most things. But I don't want to go too far into talking about fish meds yet. We're still collecting data. We're still finding the best treatments as far as what to use, the duration, how to administer it, all that stuff to break parasite life cycles. And so it could be, the truth is it could be anything. That if you or I have a sudden loss of appetite, if we stop eating, the cause could be so many things. We could have the flu and don't feel good. We could have a parasite. We could have a virus, well, flu. We could have, we could have stomach cancer. We could have, the things that could cause that symptom are so numerous, it would be difficult to know. But in that case, we kind of play the percentages when it comes to fish. And we're like, this is the most likely culprit, according to what the data I have. So that's where I would start. But also, another disclaimer is, large numbers matter when you're collecting this kind of data. And we still have a lot more to collect before I'll be confident really kind of sharing this with any kind of certainty. So we're still working on figuring all that out. You know, what are the most common pathogens that that fish come in with? Is there a better prophylactic cocktail we can use based on that? Like, if we treat with 1 or 2 medications, can we wipe out 90% of the problems? All that stuff, we're working on it. Seville Steve, why are tropical fish so much more expensive in general in the US than they are in Europe? I don't know if that's true. When I buy fish from German suppliers, for example, sometimes my cost is like, is pretty much a retail cost. I just bring them in because they're unavailable anywhere else. So I don't know if I agree with that, Seville. Now, maybe you know different than I do. I haven't dug into it much, but just from what my kind of gut feeling when I read that is like, I'm not sure that's true. Do you know when you will get neon guppies back in? Also, how about male veil swordtails? Spencer, working on the male veil swordtails, really hard to do. The veil swordtails are available very infrequently. And when they are, I always order them, and I always try to get pairs or trios. Either or. I'd rather have pairs, but they don't always have pairs available. But often they don't send me that. So often they send me whatever they send me. So I will keep trying. But that is a difficult one to get. Neon guppies, I honestly don't know how far out we are on those. Johnny, do you know where we're at on that? Would you email us, Spinster? Would you email hello@dancefish.com and ask Johnny about that? I don't know at this moment. I love you all, fish family, says Dixon Designs. Hey, right back at you. Jeff, fantastic human being and very nice guy. Well, if you knew my dark side. The Jekyll and the Hyde. No, thank you, Jeff. Thank you. We try. Cora Works, have you tasted the food, though? No. Or do you just like how your fish enjoy the food? No, I'm not a guy that feels the need to do the I'm going to eat the fish food gimmick enough to ever do it. Nope. Okay, yes. I've definitely tasted fish food, but it's by accident. It's like when I'm feeding a top row of tanks and I drop some and some blows in my mouth. Like very, very occasionally over the years, I've had the privilege of accidentally tasting a little bit of fish food, but I haven't tasted this, and I would never do it on purpose. Yeah. I'm not the guy that needs to taste my fish food or my dog food or anything like that. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Will you have Flick These Tico coming in soon? No, that's another one that every time it's available, I order it. So far, it's been available twice since I opened this business. So there's only one breeder I'm aware of that breeds those and occasionally has some. It's a gentleman in Europe, and they just don't have many. So Matt M, when I see that fish, I bring it in. I love that tiny little live bear. It's super cute. For those that don't know this fish, Flick These Tico, it's so cool. And the pictures don't really do him justice, but this is a decent picture. If this had kind of more yellow on it, or more color on the dorsal. Just a neat little live bear, and one that is hardly ever available. Just the supply is so low on these. All right, I better check here and see what I've missed on the viewer activity side. Hey, Huck. Whoa, Huck, thank you for the generous super chat. Much, much appreciated. Currently raising an army of Melanotania marisi. Where should I invade first? Yes, that's a fish I would love to purchase from you. Right now, I've actually got quite a bit of stock, but that's one that I would love to sell. Now, I will say this about that fish. How much are we selling it for? Okay. Oh, we are out right now. Okay, yeah. Yeah. In that case, we need some. I think, here's what I was going to get at. We used to have to sell them at, what's that, $30 a piece. And we sat on those for a long time. They just didn't sell. We were able to buy some from a hobbyist in the United States, sell them for $16 a piece, and they sold at that price. So I think right around 16 is the mark we would need to go for based on our experience with how much customers want to pay for that. Fluffy Cow, The fish are all doing great that I picked up just before Christmas. Thank you again. Hey, Fluffy Cow. Thank you for coming and getting those. I'm glad they ended up in a good home like yours. Thank you so much. It's good to meet you and the wife and the kid again. Kayla's Reptiles and Aquatics is throwing down a Pippi Longstocking cheerleader super chat. Thank you so much, Bob. Which is probably my reminder to check and not forget to do the giveaway. Okay. So we'll start the giveaway now, really in the hope that that the browser doesn't crash again. We'll just have some faith that that'll happen. If you want to enter the giveaway, we're going to celebrate this here new box with a giveaway, hashtag new box. So enter hashtag new box in the chat, hashtag NEWBOX as stated up here. And enter that in the chat and you'll be entered to win free shipping, which shipping ain't cheap. So that's a good little one, I think. While we're waiting for folks to enter that, I'll get to another one. Reformed says, I can never say that second word. Thinking about getting a pair of bimaculata. Beautiful little fish, neat little fish. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with bimaculata. As far as looks go, they're absolutely stunning. We'll be getting Corridors Histatus. I love those guys. Oh, Wendy, we're working so hard on that. What we're doing with them now is we're trying a couple sources. We're running them through the lab. We're really trying to figure those out. Every time we think we figured them out and everything's going good for a few batches, and then it's like, surprise! So we're working hard on those. That's one that we're trying to figure out how to source properly, how to treat when they get here. That's a fish I want to always have in stock, but it's a little tricky and it's not as available as the pygmy cory. Are you able to use basic digital microscopes with like 1000x zoom to see roundworms and other small internal parasites in a fecal sample? Let me see here. Can I do this? Let's see. Trying to see if I can share something with you. Okay, yeah. So yes, we've invested in some really nice lab equipment. Here's one piece of lab equipment we've invested in. This is the microscope, and here on the screen you can clearly see a batch of roundworms. These were found in a chili rasbora. So that's probably, I assume, very clear. So this is video footage of those little suckers on our microscope. So yeah, worms aren't a problem. Worms are big. Like, you can see worms. Where it gets tricky is when you get down to like bacteria and stuff. Trying to identify that, and some of the very, very small little protozoans and such. So yeah, we're pretty darn good at diagnosing a lot of things. We still have a bit of a learning curve for sure. I mean, people spend their whole lives trying to understand fish disease, and you know, it's a complicated thing. What we're really trying to dial in now is understanding not just what it is, but the best way to treat it, and not just like, yeah, the best way to deal with it. The issue is there's been very little work done on fish medication. The work that has been done has generally been done on food fish, salmon, trout, catfish farms, sometimes carp, occasionally on aquarium fish. But here's the real challenge. Here's where it gets really complex, is you can see that it's a roundworm, but you know how many thousands and thousands of species of roundworms there are? Like, which one is it? So that's part of the complexity. But the other part of complexity is that if you think of things, if we're going to use the lexicon of biology and to understand fish, right? If we're going to use natural history, then think about you and your cat, or you and your dog. There's things that you can eat and medications you can take that would kill your dog and vice versa, right? Chocolate, for example. Same with your cat. There's medications that are fine for you, but if your cat ingested them, they would kill your cat, right? Well, you are much more closely related in evolutionary terms to your dog or your cat than, say, a rummy-nosed rasbora is to a sterbicory. So the idea that we can treat every fish with the same medicine, with the same dose, is incorrect. There's a huge amount of diversity in the fish, and there's a huge amount of distance in how related they are to each other on a taxonomic, anyway, on the tree of life. And so got to figure out what the organism is. You have to look at all the treatment options, and then you have to work with each individual species to find out which dose of which medicine works for that species and won't harm that species of fish. So it's endlessly complex, and it's going to take a lot of time to really drill down into it. So we're working on it, and we've learned a lot, and we've barely scratched the surface. So anyway, with that, let's see where we're at here. Okay, we've got 271 participants, and the winner is Lumi. Lumi, congratulations. You've won some free shipping at Dan's Fish, which, with the prices of shipping these days, ain't no small thing. You have now 2 minutes to chime in, leave a comment in the chat, and claim your winnings. All right, that timer is running. If we haven't got a comment from you within 2 minutes, oh, it's timing right here, then you forfeit your winnings and we will draw someone else. So Lumi, there it is. Lumi has commented. Lumi, you're the winner. That was quick. So congratulations, you have won. Would you please send a email to hello@dansfish.com, HELLO@dansfish.com, and we will get your free shipping all squared away. Congratulations, thanks for participating, and yeah, you know, you can't win if you don't play. Thanks for playing. Any fish will do. So many sick live bears in the hobby, so frustrating. Yeah, that's why I'd really like to source live bears from hobbyists. I think they're less likely to have issues. Now, if you want healthy live bears, we've worked literally for years figuring out how to get healthy live bears to our customers. So ours are pretty expensive, but the odds that they're going to thrive for you are very good. So just to toot my own horn and promote dansfish.com a bit, because that's how I make a living, if you want some Any Fish Will Do, we've got some. And we never sell one that, basically we worked with an aquatic veterinarian. We learned a lot. We got a protocol down to use with live bears, and we've been fine-tuning that ever since, and we're having better luck than ever with live bears. So yeah, we've got them at dansfish.com. All right, I think we're gonna sign off here. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for joining me for the first stream of the new year. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks to my moderators for moderating. Thanks to everyone who gave away memberships. That's awesome. Thanks to all the members. If you threw money at us, thanks for the live chats. Always appreciated. Never required, but it really does help, and it is much appreciated. If you were active in the chat, thanks for participating. If you were not active in the chat, we still love you. Hail the Lurker Nation. If you're listening to the pod, or if you're watching the replay, it's been a while since I've done this sign off, so I'm getting it a little backwards. If you're listening to the replay, hello from the past. Hope the future is wonderful. And if you're listening to the podcast, Thanks for listening. Okay, with that, we'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We are getting an import in next Wednesday, but I believe I'll still be able to be here for the live stream. So if I'm not, just know I got sucked away because I had to resolve something with the import. Anyway, we'll see you next week. And until then, have a good one. Bye-bye, everybody.